beings born in his image, fair and good, strong and passionate. He called his creation man, and mankind was good. But Zeus's son grew envious of mankind and sought to corrupt his father's creation. This was Ares, the god of war. Ares poisoned men's hearts with jealousy and suspicion. He turned them against one another, and war ravaged the earth. So, the gods created us, the Amazons, to influence men's hearts with love and restore peace to the earth.
How you doing? I'm Cory Hunter, and welcome to our film school. Okay, I did a Man of Steel and a Batman vs. Superman analysis. Those films being about Superman and Batman, respectively. And now, it's only fair to tie up the DC Trinity with Wonder Woman. The film many believe to be superior to the two prior films mentioned and in the DC Extended Universe. Now, it took me a while to do a Wonder Woman analysis because I wasn't quite sure what angle to address the film from. There is a lot about the film that can be said, but I feel like most of it has already been said, except for how and why it accomplished what it accomplished. I hear of girl power and strong female role models and feminism, and just to get away from gender is said to be just one of the best superhero films in recent years. That's great, and I don't necessarily disagree, but how? A lot of what the film did has already been done in other superhero films, and this isn't an attack on the film. I just want to bring clarity to the aspects that makes this film stand out by eliminating the ones that don't. So with that said, let's get into the themes of this film. To start it off, yes, Wonder Woman is a Christ figure. What makes this unique this time around is that she's a woman, not that it's in a superhero film. In Marvel, their big three is depicted as Christ figures, and of course over in DC, Superman is the ultimate Christ figure. But let's focus on Wonder Woman. Greek mythology plays a major role in her origin tale, as it should since she's an Amazon. And for those of you who don't know, Amazons have their origins in Greek mythology. Now Zeus is her father. Since Zeus is the king of the gods, we can say he's used as a metaphor for God. Themyscira can be seen as heaven and Ares as a stand-in for the devil. To make things simple, God had a child who was sent to Earth to save mankind. That's pretty much the gist of it. But more layers are added to the story, like Ares challenging his father's sovereignty, people believing Ares don't exist, and of course the final showdown when Ares tried to persuade Wonder Woman in joining him, much like the devil did Jesus Christ. And then of course we have this. Other than this parallel, we also have the moral of the story, that is Diana believing the best of humanity even after being exposed to the dark side in all of us. If we want to get philosophical, we can make it more than that, but more or less, that's the moral of the story. So, we have a cool superhero clothed in red, white, and blue, who come from another world to save ours. This hero had parents who tried to protect their child from the cruelty of the world, as they tried their best to raise this child. Once an adult and on their path to save mankind, people repeatedly did cruel things, yet our hero learns to love mankind anyway. Yes, this story sounds familiar, and although that doesn't pose a problem for the film, it's just not the thing that makes this film special. Which brings us back to the question, what is it that makes this film so special? It's more simple than you think. It's Wonder Woman. To be more accurate, it's how she's handled. Before we continue, yes, we have a bunch of quote-unquote strong female characters. Therefore, to tackle the subject, I won't be referring to every genre because many films and television series have broken the mold. To make things contained, we'll only be focusing on films within the genre of sci-fi and fantasy, films that can be fairly compared to Wonder Woman. The strong female character within the genres of sci-fi and fantasy, and recently the superhero genre, usually fall into three main stereotypes: the deadly woman, the side hero, and the maternal hero. Let's start with the deadly woman. Think from Nikita, Trinity from The Matrix, Tomb Raider, Selene from Underworld, Alice from Resident Evil, Aeon Flux, Black Widow, Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. This is femme fatale, not in the film nor sense, but in terms of their capacity for violence. Anyone who agrees with the Freudian way of thinking would say that they are a threat to masculinity. Otherwise, their capacity for violence makes them ultra-masculine. The problem with this stereotype is that it creates the cliche that strong equals violence. Next, we have the side hero. Think Princess Leia, Padme, Hermione from Harry Potter. This chick, the woman who delivered the "I am no man" line. Or Jean Grey, Storm, or anybody from the X-Men cast. These are the female characters who may be a little bit more fleshed out, or not, but isn't our main character. The problem with this stereotype is that despite how out of the mold this character is, because this character is a supporting character, this character usually only supports our main character, which is a cliche in itself because it makes this character the supporting woman almost every time. Just think of Daenerys from Game of Thrones. Season after season, she continued to break the mold until the big reveal. That's that Jon Snow is our main character. With this known, despite all her character development, she will be reduced, regardless of how glorious, to a supporting character, so that our main character can take center stage. And the third stereotype is the maternal hero. Think Ellen Ripley from Alien, Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games, Sarah Connor from Terminator, Lilu from Fifth Element, Imperator Furiosa from Mad Max. These heroes seem to make very iconic characters. These are the characters whose motivation emerged from their maternal instincts. These characters usually have more depth than the deadly woman type, and doesn't necessarily display super masculine ways to show their quote-unquote strength. What I'm saying is that these characters can be pretty well-rounded, with the exception of their motivation. Yes, they make for iconic characters with depth, but they don't represent every woman, only mothers. And this is what makes the film Wonder Woman special. Wonder Woman doesn't fit into any of these boxes while clearly being a story about a woman. And it gets bragging rights since it's the first superhero film featuring a woman and they got it right. But how? And the answer to that is that it's all in the subtleties. As stated above, a lot of the themes and plots in the film isn't gender-based, as stated earlier in her comparison to Superman. However, the film doesn't shy away from the fact that she is a woman, and it's the tiny stories here that allows us to appreciate that. For one, let's start with her potential, which isn't doubted in the film, yet those around her, chiefly those that love her, tries to prevent her from reaching her full potential, due to the fear of the attention they know she will attract. Take this as a metaphor for society, telling girls what they can and cannot do. The film then takes this and flips it on its head by having the Amazons help her reach her true potential. Realizing Topi convinced her mother to train her, but it was the entire island that helped her reach her full potential. As mentioned earlier, the ultra-violent deadly woman is a stereotype and one Diana could have easily fell into. Just look at her portrayal in Batman vs Superman. Here, we don't have much backstory, but she was praised for her capacity for violence, as we see in this scene. But in Wonder Woman, we don't get a bloodthirsty warrior. Instead, we're presented with someone who wants to protect others, and this is shown metaphorically in her gauntlets, which are used as shields. What's interesting is how others react when she uses these gauntlets. Usually they feel threatened, not because she's assaulting them, but because she's defending herself. I thought this was a fun play on perception and how a female character can be deemed masculine, even while defending themselves and not being aggressive due to their own strength. Now, usually due to the male gaze, women get objectified in films. For those who don't know, the male gaze is when we watch a film and we put ourselves in the point of view of the main character, who is usually a guy. Therefore, the point of view the movie is taking its direction from is from the eyes of a male. Therefore, the camera tends to do certain things. Amongst them things is linger on the female figure whenever it can. By doing this, showing the female body as a sexual object, we objectify a woman. The film playfully does this with Steve Trevor, showing the role reversal and the rejection of the male gaze. But this is shown best in the angles. Diana herself is clearly an attractive woman, but the camera doesn't linger on her body. The closest the film gets to this is in this scene, but rather than show her curves, the film displays her items of strength, her shield, her gauntlets, her lasso. Yet narratively, she's still depicted as an object, not a sexual one, but a deadly one. When we come to find out it's not this object that is the god killer, it's really her. Once again, the film breaks this trope when she finds out the truth and decides not to be an object of destruction and choose her own path instead. And it's easy to fall into this trap. Look no further than Justice League, where they make petty jokes that simply take away from the mythos of Wonder Woman. What could have easily become a story of women versus men, the film does something better than avoid it. It does the opposite. Yes, the Amazons isolate themselves from men, but only after bringing them peace, when they are then betrayed by them. Meaning before they distrust of men, they believed in unity between men and women, a belief they passed on to Diana. A common trope is that of the women who don't want to live with a man, communicating the idea that women don't need men. This kind of story only ends in two ways: by doing a complete 360 and having her fall for a guy, thus allowing her to be tamed and embracing her feminine ways, or not getting with the guy and therefore displaying some kind of prejudice against men. This movie completely sidesteps this trope by having Diana and Trevor rely on each other. Their relationship isn't that of one dominating the other, but of them working together. This leads to some subtle yet powerful decisions made by the film. Trevor is a guy, but is not the main character. He's not the hero because it is a Wonder Woman movie after all. However, he proves to be more than a damsel in distress. In fact, he proved to be anything but. He is a hero in his own right, repeatedly doing heroic things and even sacrificing himself for others. What I'm saying is that the male character in this film wasn't downplayed as to not take shine from Diana. Instead, Diana proved to be so expressionable that even with male characters by her side, she still remained the focus. This is what makes this scene such a great moment. It makes a powerful point that just because she gets with the guy doesn't mean she's no longer powerful. And the film does this over and over through their relationship by showing how they keep on inspiring each other. And the film continues to sidestep cliche after cliche while remaining fun, and it does this by redefining what strong actually means. Exactly what makes a strong female character? Usually strong is displayed as violence, being bossy or rude or unkind, not needing anyone's help or guidance, not needing love or placed in a male role. None of that happens here. Usually to show a film have a strong female character, they show a weak one. But even that doesn't apply to this film. We have the Amazons and Dr. Poison and her, and none of them are shown as weak. This film deconstructs the term strong female character and give us good characters, some who are women and some who are guys. And that's what this film does. It puts a woman in the middle of a battlefield in a skirt and have no one question it. Because by the time we get to that scene, tropes have already been deconstructed, where yes, we acknowledge we are watching a woman, but we see a hero first and foremost.
How can a woman possibly fight in this?
Fight? We use our principles. I mean, that's how we're going to get the vote. Although, I am not opposed to engaging in a bit of fisticuffs should the occasion arise. Lovely.
It's itchy. It's choking me.
Can't say I blame it.
Etta, where's she?
Oh, she's trying on outfit number 226.
Miss Candy, the whole point was to make her look less distracting.
They do not deserve your protection!
It's not about deserve. It's about what you believe. And I believe in love.